Today's episode is a review of the Iotavx SA3 integrated amplifier. And for a little backstory, it really came about because of my pal Sean over at Zero Fidelity. He loves this little amplifier. He said, you know, you should do it. It was a winding road conversation. But anyway, I got it. Yeah, so here I am doing the review, and I'm so glad that Sean convinced me to do this thing. But my first impression, not so much from the pictures, but when I had it here and put it on a stand, I'm looking at it thinking, there's a deja vu vibe to this. It kind of reminds me of, what amplifier was that? Oh yeah, the NAD 3020, the original 3020, the one that came out in the late 1970s. Yeah, it's that squarish power button. Yeah, that's part of it. And the volume control, that rounded volume control, yeah, very early NAD-ish. Yeah, so that's what was going on. But anyway, and like the original NAD, this is a Class AB design. 50 watts a channel into 8 ohms, 100 watts a channel into 4. Now, I know that a lot of reviews say it's a lower power rating. This is the current spec that I am quoting. 50 watts into 8, 100 watts into 4. And then when you look under the cover, you see this substantial toroidal transformer and those really large heat sinks. And you know what that means? There's no fan. God, some fan noise is, yeah, definitely an issue with a lot of amps, but not this one. The heat sinks definitely dissipate the heat. It really runs just barely warm to the touch. You buy this amp and you think, you know, I need more power. Well, Iotavx has the solution, the matching power amp version of this, which is only $399. So then you bridge the SA3, run it mono, and you add this second amplifier, and now you have 100 watts a channel into 8, and I think 140 into 4. So there's an upgrade path for not a lot of money. Now, if you're into Bluetooth, there's an optional adapter that runs $45. The knob feel, the tactile knob feel, is definitely above average. There is a remote, of course, and it's fine, but it has too many tiny buttons, including the smallish volume up-down control. And that's the one that you use all the time. That button should be a lot bigger than all the others. And, well, the buttons are small because you can use this remote with other Iotavx components. That's the excuse. The warranty runs to 2 years, and there is an audiophiliac viewer system of the day later on in today's show. So let's take a look at the rear panel, and you will note that there are 5 line level inputs, plus the moving magnet phono input, plus preamplifier output, and even a subwoofer output. That's pretty generous. Oh, and by the way, there are bass and treble and balance controls available via the remote. As for the speakers used over the course of this review, well, there were 2 really. The ELAC Unify Reference and also the Bowers & Wilkins 607 S2 Anniversary. Now there was a third, but it really didn't make the cut, but I will mention it in passing. The Magnepan LRS Plus, which is a brutal load, really hard to drive, and as much as I think this amp is very, very capable, this was a bridge too far for the SA3. So the first recording up was this one by Anna van Haswolf. What a set of pipes. Yeah, the organ and her vocals, both really top notch. But seriously, this recording has a very natural sound on the tracks that are just organ and her vocals. There's a lot of electronic stuff going in there as well. But anyway, a great recording, very airy, the deep bass passages coming out over the ELAC Unify Reference. Really, really impressive. The reverb on this recording, I have a feeling it's done in post-production, but it has a very natural sound to it. And yeah, like I said, the ELACs were definitely pulling their weight. A really nice combination with the SA3. I did play some vinyl with the Technics turntable with the 1200G and the Grado Platinum 3 moving iron cartridge, which is functionally the same thing as moving magnet. And I got to say, the sound was very satisfying. I was playing Paul Simon, Rhythm of the Saints. I know I just used that record in another review, but it's such a great album. I've been stuck in this kind of Paul Simon mode of late. And then I was also listening with headphones to the vinyl and other things with these Sennheiser HD58X mass drop headphones. The built-in headphone amplifier was good, but if you're really into headphones, you'd probably want to add an external headphone amplifier. Next up is a comparison between the SA3 and the Denon PMA 600NE. They're about the same price, about the same power rating, and I was using the ELAC Unify reference speakers. And the music was this one. This is a Philip Glass Yo-Yo Ma collaboration called Nagoya Scazzi. Sure, I'm mangling it, I'm sure. But anyway, great recording, and it's not a typical Philip Glass. I know I referred to this just recently in another review. But anyway, I've been listening to it over and over again because I love it, because it's big and it's very dynamic. And it was pretty easy to hear right up front that the SA3 was the more transparent sounding amplifier, just much clearer from mid-range up to treble. It just had more air and more detail and more spaciousness. And switching over to the Denon, things kind of closed down. Now, it was a warmer and sweeter sound, absolutely. And which one is better? Well, that's a matter of taste, namely your taste as to which one you would think is better. But for me, I was seduced by the clarity that I was getting from the SA3. So the next recording I played was this one by Brian Olive. And I bought this CD in 2009, and I forgot all about it. And I pulled it out and said, "Why, I remember this." And Brian Olive has a sound that kind of reminds me of Morphine, the band Morphine, but it's more garage rock and maybe almost like Nuggets, like a forgotten 1960s garage band recording. Something like that, some combination of that, because it has these great driving rhythm tracks with bass and drums, and also these honking saxophones, but it's rock music. It's definitely rock music, and it definitely moves. It moves really well. And the SA3 driving the ELAC speakers was definitely a happening combination. It's one of those that made me put a big smile on my face, and I was sitting up straight in my chair and just loving the sound of this music. Moving on, I wanted to try this unlikely pairing of Wynton Marsalis and Willie Nelson in a live date. And it's basically a blues record, you know, a jazzy blues record. And the speaker, I changed the speakers over to the Bowers & Wilkins 607 S2. And I'm taking it all in, and it just feels great. Willie's vocals are so perfect. The mid-range is spot on. He's so into it. His phrasing, he's so on top of it. Really, really special. And when he does Stardust, the song Stardust, wow, that is like goosebump territory. He's a great singer, man. You just don't hear that. And I think for a vocal performance, this is one of my all-time favorite Willie Nelson records, just for his ease with this music, going, you know, into jazz and still being the blues. It's so beautiful. And the 607 S2 S3 SA3 combination was definitely firing on all cylinders. Sure, the audience had a great time, but you know what? So did I. Let's take a slide right into, so Steve, what do you really think? What do you really think of the Iotavx SA3 integrated amplifier? Well, for $499, in terms of its sound quality and features and build quality, it's pretty much all I could ask for. I mean, its transparency is definitely a notch or two above what you usually get for this kind of money. If you're into clarity and you don't have a lot of money to spend, this is probably the best way to go. It absolutely is. And with that out of the way, yeah, let's do it. The Audiophiliac viewer system of the day. Hey, this is Tim's rather extraordinary home theater. Those big horn speakers, those are 1975 Electro Voice Sentries. They weigh each 150 pounds. Each cabinet has two 12-inch Alnico woofers. Now the center channel features an Altec 288C horn and his miniature PA speakers built using Dyne Audio full-range drivers. The power amp for that channel is an Adcom GFA 545. Subwoofers are a pair of repurposed Fisher Tower speakers from the 1980s. They are powered by a Hafler P500 amplifier. The surrounds are Klipsch R14Ms powered by a Crown Comtech 200 amp. The electronics for the system are housed in a green equipment rack, and there's a Sony STR V55 receiver that's being used as a preamplifier, but it also powers the large Electro-Voice speakers. There's a Pioneer Spectrum analyzer, model CR777, and an Alesis 3630 compressor. And get this, Tim says he acquired most of the equipment for free, but most of it needed to be repaired. Anyway, thank you so much, Tim. All right, we are back. My name is Steve Guttenberg. This is the Audiophiliac Show. Thank you so much for being here. If you like what I'm doing here on the channel, covering affordable products, expensive, sometimes crazy expensive stuff, thought pieces, viewer systems, all of that stuff, please consider contributing to the channel. It's really easy to do. The address is on the screen right now, and you can make payments in dollars, pounds, and euros. You can join for a month or two and then split, or you can hang out, some people do, for year after year after year. Whatever works for you, I'm happy. Please, I'm here to serve. And if you would like to just like a given episode, please do that. The algorithm appreciates it, and so do I. And if you have yet to subscribe, yeah, we got plenty of room, and we're on our way. I almost feel like we're going to make it 250,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Maybe, I hope. We'll see. And with that, I can say my work here is at last complete. Thank you again for watching, and I really, really do hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.